Good morning, artists. Happy Tuesday. We got some sun coming in a little bit, but it is a chilly day. What's up with this May already? They're actually saying that we might end up getting some, they said the S word, they said snow. No, thank you. We're done with that, right? In any case, we're going to be just doing some fun art today. Your projects are going to be due on Friday. Let me know if you need any help with them. If you pop in today and you're in the chat, let me know if there's anything that you're having trouble with, and I can try to help work you through it. Let's just turn your camera right around and get started right with some art. We're going to draw today. I'm going to keep working on these awesome ladies have been doing. So we started working on her last week and we had some color happen. We were working on, got some green, and we were just getting into doing some of the brown designs on it. Oh, is it still working? Why is my computer saying that we're not? Refresh, computer. Make sure we're still on air. Let's sharpen this real quick. All right. Looks like we're good. It always makes me nervous when my computer starts thinking. It's always hard to tell if it's something with the computer or if it's something with the phone that is broadcasting. But it looks like we're good right now. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We had only done tacos recently, so it feels like it should be a taco night, but we had tacos a few nights ago. Yesterday's May the 4th be with you. Today, Revenge of the 5th, right? Is that how it works? That's how we used to do it anyway. We actually did end up watching quite a bit of Star Wars yesterday. Not movies necessarily. We ended up watching a couple of our favorite reviewers kind of trash on some of the older movies, the prequels especially. And then we ended up watching the latest one, Rise of Skywalker. Now, when that had come out, right around the holidays, right around New Year's, I was super sick. Oh my, you guys don't even know. You who were in my class at the time, last trimester, you probably remember that I was out quite a bit. And that was because I started getting sick, and then as soon as we were on our winter vacation, it was bad. I had a bit of a fever. I was just exhausted. It was a bad flu. A little bit of coughing and stuff, but not crazy. And this was before we had any kind of cases of corona in the U.S. Sharpening, watch your ears. I was on the sofa, mostly passed out for probably about 3 days. But because we had already planned on going to see the movie, my family and I, my parents, my siblings, I'm like, I gotta go. I have to see it. It's like, I'm exhausted, but, you know, I'm not gonna pass up the chance to go and see Star Wars. And I ended up just like hunkered down in my chair at the theater, just long blinking at the screen. It was interesting. It was like, is it bad because I'm sick, or is it bad because it's bad? So it was good to get to see it again when, you know, I'm actually clear-headed. But it just made me sad, guys. It just made me so sad. So many missed opportunities. So many weird decisions. If you're not a Star Wars fan, I'm sorry. It's probably, you don't care to hear me ranting about it. But, you know, I grew up with all that, with the sci-fi, fantasy type stuff. You know, my family were a bit nerdy. We watched a lot of Star Trek growing up in our house. And the old X-Files show, oh my goodness. That was like the ultimate Friday night at our house, was back when they would have on Star Trek, and then X-Files would be afterwards. And we would either like order pizza, or there was this place that we would go to called Romano's, not to be confused with Papa Romano's. But they had like super excellent fried fish. And that was our Friday night, is dinner and all of us around the TV. Good times. It's looking pretty nice so far, huh? Kind of breaking some rules here again with these, with the jewelry. Normally you'd think of it as, it'd be like metallic, but I'm trying to go for kind of a wood feel. She's a very, nature-y kind of character. Oh man, I was thinking earlier, got Mother's Day coming up. Normally around this time, especially for some of the my younger classes, we'd be talking about making stuff for mom. Making stuff for your mom. So I hope you guys are, at least, even if you can't get out and shop like we normally like to, that you guys are thinking about making something for your mom. I think people underestimate how great handmade gifts are. It's a lot more work, but that just means it has more meaning to it. At least write her a nice card, right? Should look into getting something for my sister, since we are dog mamas. That counts, right? If you have pets, they're your fur babies. You're their mama. All these tiny little details, just crazy. I'm going to apologize if there's a lot of pencil sharpening sounds today, since working with these tiny spaces, you need to keep the pencil tip sharp. Kind of stunk though, having to put on my heavy coat this morning. It's like 30s out right now. What's that about? Like a couple days, that's just Michigan, I guess. A couple days ago, we're in shorts. All the windows open. 70 degrees out. And today it's winter coats and close everything up and the heater's going. And we turned all the humidifiers back on. Uh-oh. Is that somebody breaking in? Who's that? Hi. You want to say hi? Who's that? I have a visitor. Riley, what's this? Riley, what's this? Come here, smell it. It's just an eraser. I want you to get on camera. Hi. You gonna hang out for a little bit? Oh, let me get that butt. Show me your butt dance. This is what you guys are really here to see. You're not here to see me do art. You're here to see my dog do his little wiggle. You good? Okay, bye. He must have opened the door on his own. I have to figure out if I have a decent video editor on this computer. I want to make a highlight reel of some of our different events, with a focus, of course, on the artwork. Duh. But maybe have some surprise visits by some puppies. Or in the earlier days when we were still upstairs, we had adventures outside with squirrel attacks and snakes and wild turkeys visiting. We get a lot of ducks in our neighborhood because we have a nature preserve pretty much right behind my block, and it's got a river through it, so the ducks are like constantly around there. But they're kind of odd here because they like to land on rooftops. Have you guys seen this happening around you? It's like you'll see like a bird on the roof. That's fine. That's normal. But we get ducks showing up. And they sit on the rooftop and they quack at you, and it's a little bit spooky. Oh man, you know what's coming up soon? Let me just double check this, but I'm pretty sure. Yes, guys. May 15th. Do you know what May 15th is? May 15th is the official halfway to Halloween. Now, we're going to have to kick this virus by Halloween, right? I mean, realistically speaking, probably not. It's probably going to be just starting to get bad again by then. But I want to have trick-or-treaters. We'll be able to dress up at school. Should all just dress up as doctors and nurses, and then we can all wear masks. Oh, I will have a doctor's coat then, though. I was preparing for a convention costume, but it's really unlikely that we're going to be seeing conventions happening for a while yet. Oh my gosh. You can have so many people crammed in there. There is zero possibility for any kind of social distancing in the kind of crowds that I've seen at those. Even if they were having one, would not feel comfortable going at all. Which I hope you guys are all doing really well and staying safe and staying healthy. And I understand that it's tough and people get really antsy and they want to go out and see friends and, you know, try to do things like normal, but it's just rough. You got to ask yourself, you know, what's more important in this? Your health and the health of others, or your chance to get your hair cut, I guess. For some people, that's it. I need to get my hair cut. It is getting too long. I mean, I'm not going to, clearly. I don't want to put other people at risk. I don't want to put myself at risk. But I'll still complain. My hair is getting too long. One of them, the people that I follow on streams and on YouTube, he's been complaining because he's got very curly hair, and it starts to go up in almost like an afro. And he used to have longer hair when I was first starting to watch him on stream, and then he eventually cut it really short, which clearly he prefers. So it's funny seeing him kind of getting his old hairstyle back almost, even though I know he's not into that. Somebody is at the top of the stairs howling. It sounds like Wesker. What's up with them? Usually they're not so intense about trying to come down and say hi. I want to say hi today. Wiley already left. He snuck back upstairs, it sounds like. Wesker has not figured out how to open the door as well. What's the matter, Wesker? It's like, Mama, I know you were down there. Why are you shutting me out? I'm gonna shake this off real quick. Much better. Oh, those little dusty pieces. Away you go. Tea break. Today's tea flavor is chestnut, which is currently my sister's favorite. Sharpening. Alright, so we're going to have this last little brown section. And then I think the fabric parts, we're going to end up doing a blue. And then it'll be time to get into her skin, which I think is going to end up being kind of a darker brown. I mean, just makes the most sense. Probably somewhere similar to our moon lady, actually, which would make sense because, you know, they're together. They're together a lot. They're in each other's orbit, essentially. All right. So let's put aside the browns for the moment and let's look at our blues. So I kind of want it to feel a little bit oceany. And we've used these kind of darker blues and some lighter blue on her. And our moon girl is mostly like violet. Oxidizing a little bit. So something colored pencils will sometimes, especially Prisma will do this, is as it sits for a little bit, the waxy part of the color kind of comes to the top a little. And it causes, especially on darker colors, they get kind of a lighter, almost like a milky tone to them. So they sometimes need a little smoothing. So we want blue family, but not the same kind of blue. So let's use a little bit of, we're going to get some light aqua and some aquamarine. And for the shadowy part, oh, let's go here. There we go. We're going to use this nice peacock blue, which the peacock blue has a little bit of a greenish tone to it, a little more so than others. It's actually a little easier to move the cameras now. Let's see how close we can get while you're still in focus, huh? There we go. You guys be able to see a little better. So this is the lighter color. Get kind of a base going. Then I'm going to use the darker color along these edges. Now I'm choosing these upper edges so that it looks like the wooden part is almost creating a shadow. It helps to make that part feel like it's sticking up a bit. So don't do it across the bottom, because if the light was falling from the top, it's going to create a shadow underneath. Same way my hand is creating a shadow. So we'll take our middle color. And we use that to blend it in. Nice, nice, nice. And then I go back to my light color to go over the areas that I know would be a little bit lighter. So not where I made the shadows. And it's subtle, it's just a subtle little color difference. But just that little bit really helps to make it pop out. Love it! Plus, since I end with the lighter color, then when I move to the next area, I still got it in hand. Man, I wish I could be working with you guys and doing different color pencil techniques and showing you all this in person so you could practice it. I know they're going to be working on schedules for next year. That's going to be exciting. I'm really sorry that I don't get to say a proper goodbye, though, to my 8th graders. That's got to be rough for you guys. You don't really get to do any kind of proper farewell. Hopefully, though, you won't forget all your wonderful teachers from middle school. And you'll come back someday and say hi. It was always funny at my previous school. The middle and high school were directly next door to each other. The buildings were even connected. So it would be pretty often that we'd have high school kids sneaking over to say hi. Say hi, but to also, first off, complain about how difficult the high school was compared to middle school, and to let us know that we teachers were right when we told them that high school was going to be very different. All those times we said things like, well, they won't let you get away with this in high school. We were right. We told you. We warned you, but you didn't believe us. Why didn't you believe us? My favorite part, though, was always when my students would show up and bring out the artwork and stuff that they were working on in high school. That was always nice to see that they had liked art enough to keep going. I actually even heard not too long ago, one of my former students had actually gone to art school, which was great because, you know, of course I remembered him from class and, you know, he did well. But I hadn't thought that art was going to be something that was going to be necessarily like a passion for him. So hearing that, he then continued with it to the point of it's now looking to be like a career. He's going to go into an art field career. That's great. It's amazing. It'll be nice for someday to see names of my students on comic book covers and video game design. I look forward to it. Sounds like the dog at the top of the stairs has given up. He grows quiet. I'll have to remember to show you guys later. I finished up a little art project I was working on. Working on some, doing some stuff with pen. And then ended up painting using some watercolor. Came out pretty cool. I think I'll almost be getting ready to work on my new big project. Doing my carving projects. Still have a few rocks that I gathered that I want to paint up, so we'll probably wrap those up this week. And by next week, we'll be looking at trying out my carving. Shake it off, lady. I like it. It's a nice, very different color. I don't know if I can get them both on here without moving the camera too much, but yeah. It's a much more greenish ocean kind of blue. It looks good. It looks good. Alright, we're going to scoot you down a bit for the next part. This cool skirt. Tea break, tea break. Yummy. Okay. Big section now. Try to get her all finished today if possible. See how far we get. I'm going to go and start posting some of these that I finished up on Twitter and Instagram. So you guys can see really nice finished ones as opposed to just from this camera on stream. Why I gotta make so many sections? Jeez. This has been nice though. There's one good thing that has come out of having to stay at home all the time. It's finally gotten me back into doing some of my own artwork, which I feel like I haven't been able to really do for a while. Especially with switching schools. It was an important decision. It was definitely a good decision. It needed to be done. I do miss my students, but on the whole, it was the good choice to make. But when you're starting somewhere fresh, you got to put a lot of your time and focus into that. And where my former school, the kids were all used to me. They all knew my rules. It was the kind of classroom where you could just give out the assignment. Everyone went, all right, I like it. And then they were all right to work. And I could do work with them, either doing the same project along with them, which was always great, or I could do something that was like my own work. So especially into that last year, and I was starting to look into the possibility of trying to get my stuff into a gallery, and I was trying to do some pieces to get ready for that, and I got the chance to work on them with some of my older kids' classes. So they were doing their work and I was doing my work, and it was great. And the kids really kind of, I think, liked the idea that, you know, I was there trying to do pieces almost professionally by that point. And they were excited by the idea that maybe I could get into a show. It didn't happen that year, unfortunately. I didn't have enough pieces to get in. I thought it would just be like, you know, you'd have, you know, a piece or two up. But no, they wanted like 20 to 40 pieces. I was like, oh, okay, well, I do not have that many finished quality pieces that I could put up in a gallery. Especially since a lot of the work that I have done was like fan related. So it was like, thank you, phone. So it was all like artwork from other people's stuff, other people's characters, fan art. And you can't get away with that. You can't get away with having that in art shows. But we'll see. Maybe next year will be the year. I already put my pieces in entry. I finally got enough of them done to be considered for the show. But it'd be nice to get a few more cool big things done. Of course, the problem is my house is not big enough to house all of the big pieces. But eventually I'll have to find a good place to put them. I don't want them just sitting in my basement gathering dust. I'll keep you guys informed, though. (2021) Michonne. Gallery review. Please keep 6 feet away from the paintings. Oh man, I'd have to get like a cool new dress or something, you know? That would be great. Get dressed up fancy. Hey, music. Keep going. Gallery events are nice and fancy events. Everybody dressed up. Talking about the line and the color and the deep psychological meanings expressed by the artist through their work. Ms. Schoen, tell us the deep psychological meaning behind this artwork. Well, I really like Medusa and Greek mythology, so I made Medusa. That's it. I'm just a nerd. That's what it is. My work is all really nerdy. Someone looking at it, being like, oh, she relates to the cold stone loneliness of Medusa, who can never be close to anyone because she turns people to stone. You're like, no. I just like stories. I watched Clash of the Titans. And that had Medusa. Oh man, I don't know if it's on Netflix or anything, but if you guys have not watched Clash of the Titans, and I mean the older version, the one from like the 80s. Was it 80s or was it or late 70s? Oh, I can't remember now. I think it had to be in the 80s. Either way, go see it. It's beautiful. It's old, yes, I know. The graphics are old, but oh man, you gotta see it. What is the meaning of rabbit in a snowstorm? Kenneth, you used to watch it? Oh my gosh, that was such a great movie. I was so excited when they announced that they were gonna do a remake. I was like, oh, great, yes, I love Clash of the Titans. Let's get Perseus back in. Let's get a nice adventure. Let's get some great CG. And they showed the Kraken, and I was all in. And they're like, Liam Neeson's gonna play Zeus, and I'm like, yes, that's great. Make Liam Neeson Zeus. But then there started to be little things creeping in that was like, oh yeah, Hades is going to be the main antagonist. And I went, Hades wasn't even in the original. Hades had nothing to do with Perseus. Why? It's like, are you trying to, are you trying to reference like the Disney movies where Hades is like trying to take over Olympus? Why is that a thing? Hades never wanted Olympus. That was just not in the mythos at all. This crazy idea that Hades kept trying to take over, and he wasn't. He was fine. He was not a villain. You want to Clash of the Titans? Like they should have used Cronus. Get an actual Titan, and I know they brought him in when they made like a sequel movie, which nobody really needed. Nobody wanted. And they finally brought a Titan in, but it was like, oh, I don't even really remember too much of it. I think I have it. Which if I do, maybe we'll endure some more movie pain and watch some bad Clash of the Titans. But go see the original. Yeah, Kenneth, you didn't like the remake either? Yeah, Wrath of the Titans. I don't remember anything except that I think it was supposed to be Cronus and he was like a lava monster. And I think, I don't know for sure, but I know that they like tried to redeem Hades at the end of that. It was bizarre. But yeah, oh yeah, Jason and the Argonauts, the Sinbad movies with their horrible fighting CG skeletons. So good. Like, I'm pretty sure even by the time I was old enough to watch those movies, the graphics were old and outdated, but man. I'd really been hoping when they had Clash of the Titans, and then they had that movie Immortals with that was supposed to be the story of Theseus. Theseus and the Labyrinth and the Minotaur. And I'm like, Theseus has a lot of stories. He's kind of horrible to all the women in them, but I mean, you can have a little creativity with that, I'm sure, and make him not a horrible, person to the women. And who was it that they had? I think it was Luke Evans that they had playing a younger Zeus at one point. And that was, I was so excited for that. I was like, Luke Evans is great. He was in the Hobbit movies. Not the best movies, I know, but Luke Evans was great in it. He played a Bard, the human that shot down Smaug, the dragon. He was in... What else was he in? He was in a Dracula movie that was, I think, a little undervalued. I enjoyed that movie. He was a good Dracula. He was in a super horrifying horror movie that I won't talk about because it's definitely, definitely rated R movie. But he was great, and I was so excited by the idea of him playing like a younger Zeus. You know, we see all these old bearded Zeuses, but it's like Zeus was a player. He got around. Like, we need a young Zeus that we could believe has, like, you know, had all of these demigod children and whatnot. And all the scenes with the gods were incredible, and they had amazing outfits, and they had fantastic hats, and y'all know how I feel about great hats. And then the movie was bad. It's like Clash of the Titans did fine, and Wrath of the Titans kind of sucked, and the Immortals ended up really sucking because it was just ridiculous ideas all around on that one. There was like this weird human plot, and then there was this plot with the gods, and they kind of didn't have anything to do with each other. And it was so sad. It was just so sad. Oh yeah, Kenneth, Godzilla movies? I'm for that. Oh yeah, and Percy Jackson. I read all of the main series of Percy Jackson, the Heroes of Olympus that introduced the Roman side of it. I read 3 of the of Rick Riordan's the Egyptian ones, and they just weren't quite as good. I don't know if I even finished I think I got the 3rd one. I don't remember hardly anything from them. I should give them another chance at one point, because I do like him as a writer. And I read the first Magnus Chase Chance. No, Chase. It says Chase. Sharpening. The one that was the what do you call it? The Norse mythology. That was okay. It was okay. It's just okay. I didn't like him as much as I liked Percy. But yeah, I'm definitely a fan of his. I haven't read his The Trials of Apollo though, which I guess are the next in the series with it's not about Percy though. I don't know how I feel about Apollo though. I mean, he didn't really contribute all that much in the books, and you kind of felt a little bad by the fact that he was taking the punishment for what happened. I don't want to spoil too much. I might get to those eventually, though. We'll see. But yeah, after all those movies kind of went blah. I mean, Percy Jackson was a thing at the time too, and they tried to do those movies, and I didn't even see the second movie. The first movie was just kind of a letdown. It kind of felt like there were things that they had changed in that one that would affect the rest of the story. I can't remember completely. I think they killed a main character in the movie that they needed to survive for the rest of the story from the books. So it was confusing. I just remember it happening and me being like, wait, what? You can't get rid of that character. Like, he is the rest of the story. All right. Now comes the tricky part. I'm using a different brown than what I did. I used this brown, little sienna brown. This one doesn't have his name on it right now, so I'm hoping that by starting with a slightly different brown, I'll make sure that her skin looks different. Actually, before I do that, what am I gonna do for the eyes? Let's give her green eyes. I want someone with blue eyes, so let's give her green eyes. Match her skirt. But yeah, I would love to see a really well done Greek mythology movie. Like, wouldn't it be excellent to take, like, not necessarily from the human-ish heroes, like not do a Hercules or an Odysseus or anything like that right away. Like, wouldn't it be great to start with the Titans? Like, start with the Titanomachy. The Titans, if you don't know, this is for my people watching who are not as into the Greek mythology as I am. Yeah, I agree, Kenneth. They were trying to turn Percy into like a Hunger Games situation. But the whole thing with, okay, I'm just gonna start talking Greek mythology. I'm sorry. We only got a few minutes left, so I can't get too much, but I'm gonna get you started, and I'm gonna leave a note for myself, and we're gonna talk about it more tomorrow, because sometimes if I don't have interesting dog stories to tell you guys, I don't know what to talk about. So we're gonna start Greek history lesson. So the Greeks believed that from the world started with nothing. Started in essentially chaos, which was pretty much just a void of nothingness. And from it came the original representations of love, death, darkness, night, and earth, which is Gaia. And the other ones were Erebus was darkness, Tartarus was death, Eros was love, and Nyx is the goddess of night. 2 girls, 3 boys. Now, depending on what part of Greek mythology you're looking at, that's kind of like one of the earlier belief systems. There are some that believe before those 5, there was another set that rose out of chaos, which was Ananke and Kronos, not to be confused with Cronus. One of them is usually spelt as Cronus and Kronos. They get confused a lot. Kronos was the one who had the sickle. And he was not a controller of anything. He didn't have a representation, essentially. But Cronus was the god of time. And I'm putting a clock. Really, it should be, there we go. It should be a sundial. That was time telling. Not a clock, but a sundial. He was the god of time. And through a lot of years, they pretty much ended up getting associated with each other. So Cronus, you'll see Father Time as now sometimes being with a sickle, and Kronos will sometimes be referred to as a time god, or he'll have like time powers or whatever. I'm gonna need a light color for this. Let's go with I don't want no salmon pink. We don't want her to come out pink. Let me use this. So in some versions, Cronus, god of time, and Ananke, who is kind of goddess of, if I remember right, it was like judgment. that they came first, and it was from them that came Gaia and Nyx and Erebus and all of them. I'm happy enough to say that they were all things that were born from chaos. It's coming out a little bit light with this color, but that's okay. We're just trying to mix it in a little bit. And I know that and there was a lot of different pairings up between those 5. And, preface this, keep in mind that in mythology, these deity characters, these godlike characters, they're not like humans. So they paired up often. But Gaia eventually kind of got lonely and decided that, yes, she had the life that she'd created on Earth, but she wanted a partner. So she decided to create the sky, essentially. So we already had Nyx, who was nighttime, but she decided to create a daytime sky. And that was Uranus. In the Roman version, the one that he's mostly known as is Uranus, which is what the planet is named after. And they had, their children were the Titans. And I'll have to grab a hold of my notes for that, because I know that I could name them all off, but I'm going to end up it's hard to figure out those 12 names at the same time as I'm coloring. It's a little distracting. But I do know that their youngest was Kronos. This is working out much better. She's got a nice warm color. My moon girl, her skin tone was a little bit darker, but it was also a bit cooler, I think. Not cool like awesome, but like cold, which works out great because, the moon does not have like soil the way that Earth does. Let's give her a little bit of darker shade around her lips. Yeah. Little shadow next to and under the nose. Not too much, don't want to give her a mustache. You guys remember all those eye lessons that we did? Shading around the eye. It even works with anime eyes. Okay. So, leaving myself a note. Titans. That's where we left off talking. Alright, so there she is for today. I'm going to spin you back around here. Whoosh. Get your line back up again. Boop. One more. And a little turn. There we go. Okay. Alright, so to be continued. Everybody stay safe today. Stay really healthy. Wash your hands, wear your mask. All of those good things. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people you care about. And I will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, for some more fun arting and more Greek chatter, probably. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.